Everyone's always got an opinion or advice for your marriage.
And no relationship is like another, so I don't know.
These are our 7 tips for saving your marriage.
This is Marriage WTF
with Kenyon and Michelle.
Warning, we are not licensed professionals. However, we are experts on saving our marriage. Viewer discretion is advised.
Number 1, self-analysis. I needed to understand. I'm all about learning from mistakes and moving forward. So looking back, I was trying to understand if I did something to push him away. There wasn't anything intentional, but maybe I did something unintentionally to push him away. To be honest, I wasn't the woman that he married either. I knew that. I didn't feel like it, but I was feeling stuck. I worked my tail off, 12, 16 hours per day, sometimes more. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't reading. I wasn't doing anything I would normally like to do. I knew things weren't stable between us. And quite honestly, I was formulating an exit plan. I didn't trust him. I didn't respect him. But all that being said, I still needed to know his perspective.
So, looking in the mirror might be the most frightening thing anybody can do. When you've done wrong, when you've hurt the person that you love, sometimes sorry isn't enough. Sometimes you have to make the decision to change, and for all intents and purposes, that can be very, very difficult. It was for me. I knew things weren't good between us, but I wasn't looking at myself, and I didn't think that I had to make a change. So her text was the kick in the ass that I needed to look inside my soul. I had to self-reflect, I had to self-analyze, and to do the self-analysis, I was going to need professional help because I knew a professional wasn't going to allow me to walk away when I hated what was staring back at me.
We were stuck in a vicious cycle of me not showing him any respect, and in turn, he wasn't showing me love. And then he wasn't showing me love, so I wasn't showing him respect. Husbands and wives are in a constant state of action and reaction. This means that in the behavior of one partner will create a reaction in the other partner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So let's say, for example, I say, do you think maybe next time you could do the dishes? Or I could phrase it differently if I want a different response. If I want him to respond differently, I need to change my action. So I could say, would you mind helping me out with the dishes this evening? I also want to get a load of laundry in before we wrap it up tonight.
I think I like number 2. The way you phrase things is very, very important, and the same thing goes for, husbands to their wives too. Because in this thing we're equals. There's no one above another one. So.
Number 2, give yourself some you time.
Absolutely.
Rest, relaxation, fitness, friends. Scheduling me time is not selfish. It's necessary, and I think that moms especially super suck at this. A good friend of mine recently reminded me of something that I told her years ago. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of anyone else.
Now, when we talk about time, you have to also think about, does this mean taking time apart from your spouse? We were on the verge of separating, trying to figure out how that whole thing was going to work. So if that's a situation, it might be what you have to do. In that time apart, you need to establish some expectations. How much time are you going to be spending apart? What do you think is needed? What's fair? What's not fair? What are visitations going to be like if you have kids? So you have to create guidelines and expectations during this time. And you have to discuss too, before the separation, what are your hopes? What are you planning to accomplish by the separation? So this time apart is also meant to help your marriage. One of the things that you have to focus on is your own self-development. And Michelle's talked about it a lot, but you have to improve yourself. I mean, self-improvement is part of this, especially when there's 2 parties.
Yep. And we decided, for us, that separating, after weighing the pros and
Yeah.
cons was not what we needed. Number 3, resolve money issues. This was definitely one of our biggest sources of marital conflict.
Absolutely. We often said if we didn't have money issues, mainly a lack of it,
Yeah.
we wouldn't have any issues at all. We've never faced like losing our house or our car or giving our kids the things that they need, but there definitely was a lot of stress. Personally, I blame myself, not only because of a lot of the job hopping I was doing to try and buy myself, also the business decision I made with the AAU program, and we just partnered with the wrong person. I blame myself constantly. But it turned out that money just wasn't the only issue between us.
I hate that you blamed yourself all the time too.
Well, I always kind of played that man card,
I
like,
know.
the husband's supposed to be taking care of the family. But it was tough. I went back to it all the time when we had money issues because we had to like cash in some, retirement and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. I mean, it
It's tough.
sucked. It turned out we had a lot more issues than just the money, and so that's why we're doing the YouTube channel and sharing all this with you guys, is because sometimes you may think it's one problem, and there's a few other ones there that are underlying that you need to take care of.
Yeah. All in all, though, we definitely do a better job of communicating about the money.
And we have a plan.
Yeah. High five.
High five.
Number 4, just remember to use the I feel statement. We went over this earlier in the earlier examples,
Yeah.
so just can't stress that enough. The importance of I feel instead of you're this and you that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I probably didn't use the I feels very often because I
No.
didn't know how to express myself.
No.
I'm better.
Better. Much
Yeah.
better.
Much better.
You was really bad.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Number 5, call a timeout.
When voices are raised, someone will inevitably get defensive or shut down. You'll feel fight or flight response kick in. Regardless, effective communication, I know. Effective communication of any sort, though, it always just completely breaks down and it's not possible. You both have to calm down. If I was feeling angry, I would just communicate that, like I need to go for a walk or I need to go to the gym. I would just feel the increase of cortisol immediately. And I knew I needed to release it. So cortisol is that chemical in your body that it's released in times of stress. And the only way to reduce it is actually physical exertion. But on the other side, if I felt sad, I would listen to like a personal development audiobook or watch one of my favorite motivational YouTube videos or meditate. I have very specific go-to tools that I will be sharing with all of you guys in future videos.
We aren't really yellers.
No.
So that being said, my response was always flight. Whether my flight took me out of the house for a drive, to the gym, but more times than not, it took me to the store where I would buy alcohol. I was always looking for a way out. Our timeouts have definitely been few and far between over the last few months, but that's due to my decision to stay present, stay focused on what's going on, to face whatever that needs to be faced, or talk about whatever needs to be talked about.
We haven't had that in 20 years.
Yeah, no, but I'm not afraid to face my mistakes again. It took a long time to get here, but
20 years.
But it's one of those things that looking back on it, I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. I'm just grateful that she stuck it out with me, and we're still here sitting here doing this video.
And we have our 20-year wedding anniversary coming up, actually.
Yeah, awesome. And we won't be together.
That is true.
We'll talk about that too.
Big changes coming up for memories.
Forgiveness. What? I can't remember. What movie was that song from? Forgiveness.
Is it Best Friends? Oh, it's got Anna something in it, and the guy married to Blake Lively.
Ryan Reynolds?
Ryan Reynolds, yeah. Wasn't it Best Friends?
Oh no, it was when
Best Friends.
Yeah, when she was singing on the plane.
Yes.
Forgiveness. It was that Anna, what's her name, with the blonde hair.
That used to be married to
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So, anyways, okay, that was just this little side conversation.
So number 6, forgiveness.
Right.
When we were like in the thick of it, I remember thinking, is forgiveness really possible? I didn't think it was.
Seeing that I didn't cheat on Michelle physically, but I was dishonest with her our entire relationship. And I didn't think I would ever be able to earn her forgiveness, but I hadn't done anything too. I mean, it was one of those things like I hadn't earned respect from her. So, this was something that I was going to have to do. And it's one thing to ask my Lord and Savior for forgiveness. It's another thing to ask my wife for forgiveness. But, I didn't know what the outcome would be with our relationship, but I knew that I was going to do everything possible to make up for it, to hopefully earn it, and down on my knees, begging like a dog if I had to, but I was going to do whatever it took.
We actually are working on like a whole video about forgiveness and what we went through and just getting more specific about all that. So make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. You do not want to miss it. And comment below, do you guys think forgiveness is possible? I mean, if
it was just friends,
Forgiveness.
I just couldn't let that one go. So
okay, number 7 is remember when. So remember like the time you guys met, and it's just a great way to bring back memories.
First night we met, when we kissed, and there was like no clouds in the sky, but it was drizzling a little bit, so that was cool.
On our first date at your place.
Yeah, I had the best entertainment that night. You want to tell them?
Hook, line, and sinker, man. HBO special. Pimps up, hoes down.
Not only that, I had the best beverages that night. Ice House.
Ice House. It was 1998.
That was pretty good stuff. Still something that we still do is we watch Friends all the time, and we always compare ourselves to like Monica and Chandler, but we used to watch it endlessly, and now our kids watch it and that kind of stuff. So that's
oh my
fun.
gosh, how many years did we fall asleep to Friday?
Oh, Chris Tucker and Ice Cube.
Yeah, before Netflix.
Oh, that was awesome. I used to love that movie. That video was pretty worn out.
So it's just fun to remember those times. Our honeymoon, our very short and cost-efficient honeymoon, because we had to get back for basketball practice. We've touched on this in previous videos, and we'll continue to touch on it because it is vital for both of you. You need to daily work on the 4 corners of you: physicality, your mental state, emotional, and spiritual self.
Yeah, you have to take care of yourself first. And she mentioned it before. You have to take care of you before you can take care of anything else.
Right, so Kenyon and I are each on our own paths of self-growth. Our paths are side by side and heading in the same direction towards a common goal, which is ultimately saving our marriage.
And now it's time for the Marriage WTF Challenge. Honey, take it away.
Okay, every day tell at least one person close to you how much you sincerely appreciate something that they did. Pay close attention to their reaction. And also pay attention to how it made you feel. Then comment below with #AppreciationNation and give us the details. And remember, we are here because our marriage is worth fighting for.
Our family is worth fighting for.
And so is yours.
So remember, subscribe, comment, like us, and then share the video with someone else.
And we will see you on the next Marriage WTF.